Welcome to another edition of Designing Spaces, the show that's all about you and your space, your home and surroundings. I'm Debbie Marie.
And I'm David Jones. Here on Designing Spaces, we like to present you, the homeowner.
Or future homeowner.
Or future homeowner with all the latest and greatest ideas for improving your lifestyle and making your home that much nicer.
And making your household everything you desire can cross a wide spectrum of topics, from controlling personal finances to choosing the right appliance.
That's right. And of course, let's not forget those do-it-yourself projects. Designing Spaces enjoys a good project every now and then. You save money, you upgrade your property, and you know having the right tool is so important, so we're jumping in the home toolbox as well.
Well, and then there's perfecting the final touches, creating the mood for those special occasions at home.
And you know what that is? The payoff for doing the right thing.
Because everything we have just mentioned just now will be on today's show. So you'll definitely want to stick around and see it all right here on Designing Spaces. Okay, to start the show today, let's start with the most basic element.
Money.
Yes, it all takes money, and with proper handling of your finances, you'll be amazed at how much you can do.
That's right. Managing your money can be tricky, but you know, once you have the right team on your side and you have some sort of game plan in action, you're on the road to growth.
Getting sound advice from an expert certainly helps, and everyone has their own path to follow in the world of money management. So here's Bobby Dodge on the trail to better financial planning.
If there's one thing this economy has taught us, it's the importance of sound financial planning. Now that the markets have calmed down, people are taking a more thoughtful approach to their finances. Today on Designing Spaces, we're going to take a closer look on how to better manage our spending. Bill and Nancy met in college. After several years of dating, they got married and moved into their first home. The couple is now expecting their first child and know that despite the problems with the economy, they need to start planning for the future.
You know, when you're single, you don't really think about managing your finances that much. It's more you see something, you want it, you buy it. But once you're married, it's time to put a plan in place. The difficult thing for us will be sticking to the plan.
Now that you're expecting a baby, has that changed your view on things?
Oh, definitely. I think it just goes with the territory. We've seen what's happened to people over the last couple of years, and it's really changed the way that we budget and how we spend our finances.
Yeah, last year was really a big wake-up call for us. I mean, we all know people that are suffering, and now with a baby on the way, it's really important for us to manage our spending.
That's a great lesson for the rest of us. How would you define your spending habits?
Well, I'm definitely the conservative one. I like to figure out if something's a need or just a want. I really try to establish what our needs are first. And I really try to put everything into a budget and have a plan. For large purchases, I like to make sure that they fit into the plan or not.
Sometimes I can go a little bit overboard with spur-of-the-moment purchases. That's an urge I've been trying to control. And now that we have a baby on the way, it's really important for us to have control of our finances.
To try to get a handle on their current financial situation, Bill and Nancy sought help from Chase. We caught up with Karen Kaiser from Chase Card Services to learn more about steps consumers can take to gain more control over their finances. What are the challenges people are faced with in managing their spending and borrowing?
Consumers have told us it's really about three things: control, simplicity, and predictability. But life isn't predictable, as you know, and neither are the expenses. You may need 1 month to repair a car or replace an appliance. You could have a life event to plan for, a birth or a wedding. The key is to have a plan designed that works for you to manage through that spending and borrowing.
Even if someone creates a plan on what they'll spend and how they plan to pay down those expenditures, what's to say they'll actually stick to it?
Well, sticking to a plan is definitely a challenge sometimes for all of us. The key is to design the plan on your own terms and within your own budget. For example, you don't need to be overwhelmed by that large purchase you need to make if you break that down into manageable monthly payments toward your goal. Consumers have told us that having features built into your card that help you do this make it very likely you'll stick to the plan.
Obviously, people tend to think differently and spend differently depending on the stage of life that they're in. For instance, someone who's single versus someone who's married, or someone who has a family. Bill and Nancy are about to have their first child. How does this play into them creating a successful financial plan?
Well, anyone who's had a baby, myself included, know that it's expensive, and all of those expenses come at one time. There's the big ticket items, the crib, the stroller. There's the everyday expenses, toys and clothes. It all adds up. So that's why it's more important than ever that Bill and Nancy sit down and take a few minutes to make a plan around the spending and borrowing they're going to need to do.
Thank you so much for meeting with us today. As you can see, we're having a baby in the next few months, and we've just realized how expensive it all is.
I imagine there have been a lot of surprising new expenses along the way.
Absolutely. The baby furniture, the baby supplies, and there's a lot of things that we've never even considered before.
Now, how have you been paying for all of this?
Well, so far we've been putting everything on a credit card just because we have so many expenses with getting the nursery ready before the baby is born that we don't have the cash right now to pay for it all, so the credit card was the best option for us.
Okay. Now, do you know about how much you've spent so far?
Just over $1,200, I think $1,205 to be exact.
What advice do you have for Bill and Nancy for them to better manage their spending and borrowing as they move into this new phase of their lives?
Like most of us, I think Bill and Nancy would love to have some help with their finances, especially in this busy time. At Chase, we developed something called Blueprint. Blueprint is a set of innovative features built right into your card. With Blueprint, you can make a plan to pay down your credit card balance. You can track your spending. You can even break apart those large purchases into manageable monthly payments, as we talked about. Blueprint is free, and the best part is you'll see your progress online and on your statement every month. Well, I know firsthand that having babies, that it is expensive. Blueprint is something that could help you manage these finances and really save you money along the way. I'll show you a demonstration of what you can do at home to make a plan. I plug in the $1,205 that you talked about. It's the balance on your card. And you said you wanted to pay it off in a year. So you put in the 12 payments, and here's your plan. The plan is a payment of $106.61 a month. And if you do that, you'll have this completely paid off in the year. The really cool thing is the plan is showing you'll save about $720 in interest because you're paying more than the minimum payment.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
I know, it really is.
How important is it for people to stay on top of their credit card borrowing by paying more than the minimum amount due each month?
It is important to have a plan to pay down your balances at a faster rate because it can save you noticeable amounts of money on interest in the long run.
It sounds simple enough. Why don't more people have a plan?
Well, it needs to be simple and easy. We know consumers have said it's about control, simplicity, and predictability. Bill and Nancy are a perfect example. They want to manage their expenses, and they need a plan to pay that off.
How do you feel now that there's a plan in place?
Oh, it's just a relief to know that we have a path to follow. We went online, and it was so easy, and it feels great.
Yeah, having goals that we can manage on a monthly basis really helps us track our progress and gives us a real sense of accomplishment.
How exactly does Chase Blueprint help?
Well, like Bill said, the greatest thing is that you can track your progress so easily, and you know exactly where you are at any moment.
If you had to give one piece of advice to consumers today, what would it be?
Put yourself in charge of your own finances by designing and sticking to a plan.
Where can our viewers get more information on Chase Blueprint?
If they'd like to learn more or set up their own plan, they can do that at chase.com/blueprint.
Karen, I want to thank you so much for being here. You have a lot of great information.
You're welcome.
If you'd like to see this segment of the show again, visit designingspaces.tv. You'll also find a link there to Chase Blueprint. For Designing Spaces, I'm Bobby Dodge.
That was nice. A perfect way to end the show.
I know. We started with money and finances and ended the show under the soft glow of candlelight. Leave it to Designing Spaces to cover a wide range of topics.
Oh, and Girls Powered Up.
That's right. We got some great helpful tips on the show today. What more could you ask for?
Our next show.
You'll have to wait on that. More great topics for home and lifestyle are being lined up as we speak. You won't want to miss it. But for now, we're out of time. This is Designing Spaces, and I'm David Jones.
And I'm Debbie Marie. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can visit these websites to learn more about the participants on this edition of Designing Spaces.